Hello.
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 What is your name and where are you from?
My name is Zoe. I'm from France and Cuba.
And what are you doing in Korea?
I am doing my last year of master in KAIST in Daejeon. It's like 2 hours from Seoul. I'm doing my master in business, politics, and computer science.
So how long you been in Korea?
I'm here since August, and we are right now in May. So I'll let you do the count.
A year.
Almost a year, yeah.
And why did you choose Korea to study?
I didn't choose it. Korea chose me. At least my school chose for me. But if I had the choice, it was for the education was very interesting, very high level, and also it's a very developed country, and I wanted to visit and see another parts of Asia because I stay 6 months in Indonesia, so Southeast Asia, and I wanted to see the Northeast Asia.
And what is your like? Do you have any culture shock in Korea?
Yeah, of course. First of all, the people. I would say it's very different to have the interaction between Koreans and non-Koreans. I didn't learn the language before. I just learned how to read, and for me, it was very complicated the first months because I was not able to speak or understand. Now it's way better because I can have some words or I can understand what the people are asking me or showing me. So now the interaction is better, but still complicated because as you say, the culture shock is very different. Um, Also, the architecture is very special. I think the country is kind of new, like all the buildings are very new, maybe 60 years ago. So for me, from France, we have very old buildings, so that's very different. Um, the food also is different. I was not used to kimchi. It took me like maybe 3 months to like kimchi. Now I love it. Uh, and I was not used to eat a lot of rice, but now I cannot spend a day without eating rice. So I think the culture shock was very complicated at the beginning, but now I think the culture shock is very disappearing more and more. So yeah, I'll just adapt myself to that culture.
And what is like your best episode in Korea and the worst episode in Korea?
I think my best episode is when I just walk around and some Azuma, some old lady just come to me and say, "Oh, ipo ipo or yepoda," and I can understand now. So I think it's very nice. Also because before I didn't understand why people were looking at me in the eyes, like fixing me all the time. And now I decide to just smile and say 안녕하세요, say hello, and they say 안녕하세요 back, and they start to talk to me. So I think the best moment is when I understand that they don't fix me because they think I'm weird or because they don't like me. It's just because I think I'm exotic for them. And if I start to talk to them, they will be also very happy to talk to me. So I just have to break the first step, and after everything is nice. That's a very good moment. Now I understand. And the worst moment I think will be when I'm go to clubs. Sometimes I get touched by Koreans. When I say touch, it's touching my intimity part of my body. This is really not nice because you feel like an object, and it's very common. It's not once; it's been a lot of time in a lot of different clubs in Seoul or other cities. So I think it's very common to get to be touched by boys in the clubs. So that's maybe the worst part that left. That no, that I never been touched like this. I I had the chance to visit some countries before, and for me, it's the first time I get touched like this. I never get touched in that way. And also, I've been to South America, and so people will dance with you, and they will be maybe sometimes touchy, but not touchy as Koreans does. Uh, so yeah, it's the first time in my life I get touched like this.
As a like as a country,
Mm.
what do you think is the best part of this country compared to others, and what's the worst part of this country?
Well,
As a,
as a country, you have a lot of things. You have a lot of money, and you can invest in education, but also in these cities. And I see that they're changing a lot, like making more nature, making more education accessible, and also access to health system. That's very, very interesting. Um, but as I say, the country grew up very quickly in one boom, and there is a missing part in some points. People are very competitive. Competitive. The thing is mostly like work hard. So people will just study a lot or work a lot without looking outside the bubble. So I think Korea has a very high rate of suicide. I think also because people are inside the society and they want to show to everyone that they can have a very good position as a job or as a study, and they forget to just live, if I can say, to just enjoy like simple moments. And I think the country can work on it, giving more freedom, giving more like life. What can I say? More a balance between work, studies, and your free time. I think that would be nice that the government encourage the other companies to give more free time to their employees.
And also the second question, question. Okay, this kind of people please come to Korea, and this kind of people don't come to Korea.
I think everyone should come to Korea. Um, but if you are introvert, you can love it because nobody will talk to you if you don't do the first step. But you can also feel lonely in some moments. So it depends what you're looking for. If you're looking to be in a very peaceful place with safety, because Korea is it's the safest country where I've been because I really feel safe. Going except clubs, but going back home at 5 a.m. or just walking around, except clubs, yes, uh, it's very safe. So for a girl, I think it's nice, except club. Um, so if you're introvert, I think sometimes you can feel good because nobody talks to you, but also if you need someone to stimulate you, it can be a trouble. Um, and you cannot also arrive with one idea of Korea. I think you just need to come and just see how's Korea and adapt yourself. You cannot come with a lot of in your mind and say, okay, I don't like this, I will change it because it's a country, so you cannot say that. I was like this at the beginning. I realized that was not possible, and that's not my my part to do this. So you should just come and see how it's going with the flow. So I think everyone can come if you're very open minded because it's very different from Europe, at least from France. So everyone can come to Korea for sure.
And you're in the best educational institute on science and tech, actually, in Korea. Is there something you want to talk about the Korean education
Yeah,
compared to European education?
yeah. So I did my bachelor in France, then in Peru, then in Indonesia, then here in Korea. So I have the chance to see South America, to see Southeast Asia, Europe, and Northeast Asia. And this is very different from everything that I get before. I think it's very, very demanding. You need to study a lot. You need to be very good in English. You need to do a lot of homework, and also you have a very good connection between your teacher and you. They will advise you a lot. I have my own advisor, for example, and that's very, very. I think I'm very lucky because in other countries you don't have your own advisor. I'm writing also my thesis, like student case here, so I have a lot of people behind me who's helping me and sharing me. So I think the education system in Korea is very, very good, but as I said before, the society is pushing, and I think it's too competitive, and people study too much. Uh, that's good, but you need again a balance between your studies and your personal life. Yeah, and also I want to say Korea has a very interesting point of view about students because they always look for technology. Like I have a lot of students who doesn't talk about technology in the paper, but at the end we talk about technology because I think Korea is a country who's already in advance in technology. So that's a very interesting point of view. Yes, come to Korea.
Are you gonna come back later?
Maybe, but I think
Maybe not. Maybe
no. Yes, if I have the opportunity, yes, but not now because I've been here for almost a year. I would stay there for like 11 months or 10 months, and I've been lucky to go around and visit a lot of places. But I think I want to see other places, other countries. But for sure, I will come back. I don't know, maybe in 5 or 10 years, but I will come back.
Personally, what is your best favorite country
Wow.
in the world?
Um,
Like,
my favorite country, I think I like the Philippines. I know you don't like it, but I really like it. It's more my vibe as a Franco Latina. Very, very warm people, sunny, going at the sea all the time. That's my vibe. Yes.
and can you mention like a two-person you had really like, oh, this person was so amazing while you were staying in Korea?
A Korean?
In Korea, yeah. And the worst person, it doesn't matter if you
Ooh.
remember the name or not. Like, just go on.
Okay, let's start with the negative points. I think about the negative, I don't remember the name. I just sometimes feel like there is people are shy to speak English, or they just don't want to. So sometimes they just do this to you, and that's very. I think they do it because it's normal. But for me, I was at the beginning very sensitive. I was like, "Whoa,
Feel like you're
that,
rejected.
exactly." I
they
feel
say they want to say I don't speak English, but it's like it's too.
yeah, exactly. I think it's rejected. The feeling that I get frustrated and rejected. So this, and I told you about the clubs. I think it's, and sometimes yeah, they are Jumas. They just push. They just fight, and there is space everywhere, but they just push, push, push.
You cannot avoid the public like transportation.
I don't understand why, but sometimes you're in a bad mood. Someone does this, you're like, why? So no, no, no. And the good person about Damien, you're already inside. You know that. Do I have to take to say why? Compliment just for you ego. No, you're very good, very open-minded, speaking good English, understanding the other culture, understanding that also we don't understand your culture. Sometimes it's hard. I think when someone says to you, I don't like this from your country, you're like, why? But that's good also to have interaction with you. Like we talk about it, and after it's good because everyone understands why the other didn't like it or why it's different from their countries. So that's a real connection, a real interaction, and that's very, very nice. I think everyone should be like this. Um, yeah, and also I just show up with someone and you're like becoming friends in one second. And also I'm losing this because Koreans are shy, introverts, and for them making friends take a long process. But that's not the case for with you. So that's refreshing. That's refreshing. And after I have two other friends from Korea that I really like. One guy with who I'm running, Yusuf, um, who's a computer science engineer, who's running marathons, who's doing biathlon, who's also a studying teacher, who's very interesting, who lived in Mexico for years. A very interesting person, very kind, because I think Koreans are very kind and generous. And I have my best friend from Korea, Daehan, who's in KAIST with me, and she's the funniest person I ever met and the most curious also. She can do everything. You just text her, let's do this, and she'll be like, okay, let's go. Okay, so let's go. So yeah, I met very good person, Koreans and international, and I'm very happy of that experience. I feel very lucky.
And the last one, the
Thank
two
you.
last one, the last message for the KAIST students, and then the also another message for Korean general people. general Korean.
Okay.
Leaving soon, so
For KAIST students, I think studies are important, but if you forget to leave, why do you study? Because if you study to have to have a work, you have money. What you gonna do with the money at the end? If you don't know how to live with it, like yes, first one. And for Koreans, don't be afraid to speak English or even just to interact with foreigners. We don't speak English. I'm French. I don't speak English. I don't speak Korean. So if you just try, we can maybe make
while
it.
you're speaking English, I don't speak English.
I mean, my English is not good enough to be fluent and to work with my English. So I don't have the pretension to correct you in English for sure. So just let's try to talk together, and I can learn from you. You can learn from me, and that's the beautiful things of traveling and meeting people from around the world. Thank you very much.